Tran, long-time lurker, first-time speaker. I'm supposed to be a grad student, and I'll be talking about SALT. For all the security-minded people out there, we're not going to talk about salted hashes. Even though we mentioned Bridge of Spies earlier, I will also not be talking about the Strategic Arms Limitation Treaty. So sodium chloride, as anybody who's taking high school chemistry remembers, is an ionic compound composed of sodium and chlorine ions, and to combine into a repeating crystalline structure. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about people getting angry and frustrated at the various things that can go wrong in their life. I admit it, you've all felt it at some point this week. But what is salt? We throw that word around like salt, but according to the Oxford Dictionary, it means being angry and resentful, especially in response to defeat or disappointment. Hilarious example here. Now you're wondering, of all the spices I had to choose, why did I have to choose saltiness? Well, it's just like I mentioned. It's a really common emotion to feel really frustrated when things just go really bad over and over and over again. In fact, the feeling of saltiness has been around for a very long time. Anybody remember the Carmina Burana is literally a poem about monks being salty about life screwing them over in various ways. And as a computer science major, I'm obligated to mention the dreaded segmentation fault, though I will admit, at least the computer is nice enough to tell me that something broke, even though it's not particularly descriptive. My favorite this quarter is the absolute lack of parking that we can find on the way to campus, between parking permits, or just the spaces and all the dang people and all the cars parked really crookedly. But why? Why do we react to all these things going wrong like a slug actually being dipped in salt? It's not that we're going to horrifically dehydrate and die in like a couple seconds if we're continuing to be exposed to salt. Instead, it has to do with our lizard brains. Not like the actual brains of lizards. The reptilian brain is just considered the more primitive part of our brains that existed before we could actually develop higher thought as human beings. Formally, the limbic system is in charge of the emotional parts of our brain. They give us our knee-jerk emotional reactions so that we can immediately act upon them to survive. Usually, whenever we have huge emotional responses, they kick in our fight or flight response. If you get mad, there's a good in the old days, like back in the wild, being angry at something probably meant that thing was probably a threat to your survival. So get mad, go fight it, get scared, run the heck away. But unfortunately, we're not in the wild anymore. We're not animals. We're supposed to be civilized. But when these ancient emotions kick off, they throw really weird reactions like unnecessary aggressiveness. The other problem with us being salty is we tend to be really salty about things that are beyond our control, like not being able to get the classes we want. It's really and when you feel like you don't have control over your life, what else can you do but complain? It helps you vent, and it actually makes you feel better because maybe somebody else is going through the same thing you are. But the thing is, it's not terribly useful to complain all the time, because eventually, if you keep feeling like things are out of your control, we enter the state of learned helplessness, where at some point we just give up and we think that we can't actually change anything, even when we actually can. And the other problem is too much salt is not good for your health, both literally and figuratively. The increased amount of anger and stress will probably increase your blood pressure and probably affect your heart when you're like old and middle-aged. So unfortunately, as salty as we are, we're going to have to accept that life sometimes deals us really bad hands. But that's totally okay. We just need to control the things. We can control the things that we can change. We have to live with the things we can't. And we got to remember that there are some things in life worth living for. Like guinea pigs. This wasn't my idea. Somebody else I know really likes guinea pigs. So yeah, it's okay to be salty. Just take it in style, sprinkle it around, probably not on other people and probably not on the earth, otherwise we may never be able to grow things ever again. And that's the end of the talk. Thank you.